What is up, everybody? Today I'm here to talk about the new Netflix movie, The Atom Project, starring Deadpool, Gamora, Elektra, and the Hulk. A lot of Marvel actors in this movie, but hey, that's not a bad thing. They're all good actors in their own aspects. Now, if you have not heard of The Atom Project, it is a movie about a character named, no surprise, Atom, who travels back in time and ends up meeting his 12-year-old self, and they go on an adventure together to find a mysterious person that is revealed later on in the movie, and the two of them are being hunted by an evil corporation from the future. And then, hijinks ensue, and the two of them learn about their characters and grow together as people because they both learn from their past and future selves respectively. It's a fun movie, fun sci-fi adventure. It's funny at times that I really enjoyed it. I think the child actor in this movie was fantastic. He perfectly replicates how Ryan Reynolds acts while still being able to maintain his own performance.
Who talks like that? Did you order like a bully starter kit on Amazon or something? I mean, do you even hear yourself, Chuck? We talked about this.
I didn't say anything.
Shut up, Chuck.
I love seeing that. Child actors that, are really talented and get their foot in the door at such a young age. It's pretty cool. I know it could be very taxing, but, I think it's really cool that this kid can act so well, and it worked really well for this movie, because if this kid sucked at acting, this movie would not work in the slightest bit, because this movie very much hinges on the fact that Ryan Reynolds and the child actor are working well together, and you can feel like they're the same person, because they're supposed to have like a good, buddy cop kind of rapport between the two of them. And if you don't feel that between these two characters, you're gonna hate this movie. So I'm really glad that both of them were able to work really well together. They had fantastic chemistry, both in like the action oriented bits of the movie and the comedic bits of the movie, and even in like the emotional bits. They just worked really well as a whole throughout the entire film, and I thought that worked out really well, because if one of them sucked at acting, this movie wouldn't work at all. Now, as I mentioned, Zoe Saldana, also known as Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy, she's in this movie. She's not in it a lot, but she was in this movie for a brief amount of time, and I thought she did pretty good. There wasn't anything crazy. It's not like it was a best performance or anything like that, but she is around for you to have a good time seeing her on screen, and then she leaves. Mark Ruffalo is also in this movie, plays an integral part into this movie, and it kind of made me want to see a buddy cop movie with Deadpool and the Hulk as the main characters, because the two, Ryan Reynolds and Mark Ruffalo, worked really well and had a lot of chemistry together. So
This is where you work.
Yes.
It only took you 44 years to bring me here.
Fair.
Deadpool's in the MCU now. Maybe one day in the future I will see them together in a movie. But focusing more on the Atom Project, the effects in this movie were pretty solid, which is a plus given Netflix's previous history of things that don't exactly look that great, and then the things that do look great end up getting canceled. So I'm glad that this movie looks good and it didn't pull me out of the movie. There are some weird things in the movie, like in the action bits. The enemies kind of combust into weird cosmic dust when they're defeated, and they kind of just explain it away by saying
big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I was fine with that, but I can definitely see that being an issue that a lot of people have with this movie, is that this isn't the most concise, well-written movie that's going to leave you thinking about it for years to come. Like, you're going to be sitting down like, man, I can't believe like that happened, man. I gotta rewatch that movie right now because I need to feel that again. No, it's not like that. It's just a fun action adventure movie that you could probably sit down and watch with your family, and that's it. There's nothing too crazy about it. If you think too hard about the movie, like the time travel aspect of it, it's gonna bother you a bit, because there's definitely things that you can harp on and criticize about how the time travel and the story works and everything like that. Like, perfect example, there is an action set piece at the end of the movie where magnets are involved, and it's just like, how are you using your metal weapon when this thing is in the room? But I don't understand how this is. So there's things in the movie that contradict themselves, that if you just like, hey, I'm not going to think about it, or it doesn't bother you at all, you'll be perfectly fine. But I can understand if you wouldn't vibe with this movie because of the way they tell the story, the way they just expect the audience to just go, hey, don't worry about that, we're just here to have a good time. because I feel that way with certain pieces of media. You know, there are pieces of media that I'm able to enjoy. I'm like, okay, I can just enjoy it for being fun. But then there are other times where I'll see something and I'm just like, this is too stupid and too disorganized and horribly constructed for me to move past it and enjoy it. This is not one of those cases. The movie is competently written for the most part. It has some nice emotional moments with some heart in it. But then, you know, like I said, there are a few moments that have to deal with the time travel and the science in the movie that kind of pull you out a bit, and you're just like, how does that really work? It doesn't really work even with the way you explained it, so I don't understand. But you can let that slide, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to ruin your experience with the movie, or it could. I don't know you, but hopefully it doesn't, so you'll enjoy it. I think that's really about it. I really, like I said, I really like the action, I like the effects. I think the kid did a great job acting. Ryan Reynolds, every movie that Ryan Reynolds is in is entertaining, even his bad movies like X-Men Origins Wolverine. That movie is dog crap. It's terrible, but I can definitely rewatch that movie whenever I feel like, because it's super fun to watch because of how ridiculous it is. The Hitman's Bodyguard, that movie isn't great either, but it's super entertaining and funny because of how ridiculous it can be at times. So every movie that Ryan Reynolds is in is entertaining, even if it's considered a bad movie, and this is no exception. This movie is very fun, it's entertaining, you will probably like it, especially if you like Ryan Reynolds as an actor or any of the other actors that I mentioned earlier in this movie. So, in this movie, this is a review, as I mentioned earlier in this review about this movie. Okay.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So I think that about really wraps it up. I can't really think of anything else. Like, there isn't really any spoilers to go into with the movie. Like, it's not really one of those kinds of movies. Like, if I do talk about spoilers, it's not going to be anything that's like, oh yeah, I was really hoping you would talk about that because I was thinking about that a lot. There's nothing like that really in the movie. I don't think you're going to really care if I go into spoilers anyway, but I'm not, just for the sake of, I don't really feel like it right now. There isn't really anything that stood out that made me want to talk about spoilers. Oh, right. Actually, before I go, one final thing. There are a couple scenes in the movie, the very first scene of the movie, and then there's an action set piece towards the end of the movie that felt very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. I guess no, it's maybe just like all the action set pieces in the movie. They have like a specific tone and music that kind of play that feels very Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I feel like if this was set in Guardians of the Galaxy movie, or like, you know, a similar sequence took place in those movies, I wouldn't be shocked. It just felt very in tone with those movies, which isn't a problem. You know, it's very enjoyable. It's not anything negative. It's just something that really stood out to me. But that's really about it. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm the Innocent Villain, and my good friend CuriTuber makes all of my thumbnails. I do not want to forget that. And, oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds uses a lightsaber that looks like Darth Maul's lightsaber. Okay, that's it. I'm the Innocent Villain. Stay innocent until proven villainous, and I will see you in the next one.